welcome to So Much Wrestling. This is your main dude, Crash Bang Boom. I am here to react to a video of a show that I once really loved, but some of the things that were said would rub me the wrong way. And I thought it would be fun to kind of react to it and just see if you can get me riled up a little bit. So let's just real quickly run through some of this, and I'm just going to play it and pause and just cut it up.
And the crowd was chanting, "We want Kross." All right. First of all, clearly, Bully, they weren't chanting, "We want Brock." First of all, Brock came out with...
They weren't chanting, "We want Brock," but part of me thinks that potentially there's two ways this could go. They know they're going to re-sign Karrion Kross, and they're just trying to get the fans riled up, or they are just trying to brush it off and just say Brock just to get people, not sell it. You know what I mean?
It's hard to do certain things. But listen, the WWE had Brock Lesnar make an appearance at the end of SummerSlam night number 2 that nobody saw coming.
Right. The reason nobody saw it coming was because Daniel Cormier from the UFC came out and said that the reason that Brock Lesnar was on the no list, basically the banned list, and that they couldn't talk about him on TV. So one thing they did right in hiding that from the fans was not talking about Brock. And I'll get to this later. This kind of interweaves with the whole Seth Rollins thing. And these guys are complaining about the Seth Rollins thing. Like, they want to be surprised and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I want to be surprised too, but I also want continuity, and I want WWE to pay attention to what they're doing. Anyway.
A lot of momentum, and there's a lot of buzz. Now, Bully, you said going into the match at SummerSlam that this was a must-win for Karrion Kross. Obviously, he lost.
Anybody with a brain knows there's no way Karrion Kross was going to win that match because Sami Zayn is going to get a title shot. It's probably going to be against Seth Rollins. My guess is, if you do the math, he's probably one of the contenders to come up in the fall. So maybe Survivor Series. Maybe even they wait till Rumble. Seth's going to have that belt for a while.
To Sami Zayn. From all reports, Karrion Kross wasn't even at Monday Night Raw last night. I really hope that you're right, Bully, that they did all of this on purpose. They had him lose. This thing with this video with Triple H, using the hashtag "We want Kross." Like, I really hope that they're using this because make everybody think that he's gone. He makes the appearance, and maybe they could do something with him.
Fantasy booking. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to align Karrion Kross with Seth Rollins' faction. And I mean, there's no reason why you can't put him with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. Get Scarlett in there. You could do a whole thing where WWE let him go and Seth brought him back in somehow. I don't know. Like, there's a way to make that work. But what better way to put him in the picture is to have him, aligned with the biggest faction in the company.
You never know who's telling the truth. You never know who's lying. In wrestling back in the day, you kind of knew everybody was either lying, but there was some degree of truth. I think everybody's going to start working everybody moving forward because we're not sure which real or unreal. And
they already started doing this. That's why you have a show called Unreal. Here's the problem. People like Bubba Ray and LaGreca, especially Bubba Ray, like, dude, you should have known. Like, if you watch and this is what drives me nuts. These guys have these shows and they talk. They don't even really pay attention. I've seen it on some of these shows. Here's the things you should have done if you wanted people to be 100% completely fooled by the Seth Rollins thing. I think, first of all, you should have never even mentioned Seth's knee on Raw when Penta kicked him in the leg. Secondly, Saturday night's main event. They should have immediately put the X up, which I think Bully, to his credit, actually points out here. He caught that as well. At the end of this video, he acknowledges, they should have stopped the match. Or no, it was in a separate video, I think. They should have stopped the match. 100%. So just X. He also oversold the injury by hopping up and down. if you watch Seth Rollins when he busted his knee up against Kane, when he did that power bomb outside the corner years and years ago, I think it was 2014, 2015. Like when his knee goes out, it's almost like a groan. Oh, like, but he's able to keep going, but he doesn't spaz out. He oversold that injury.
Even in this show, Unreal, that pulls back the curtain. Hey, we're going to pull it back and tell you the truth. Well, we're already finding out that the pulling back and telling of the truth seems to be a lie in and of itself.
Well, I mean, like, that's the thing. You're still doubting it. You really honestly don't know. When it comes to wrestling, you really don't know. It's like the Seth Rollins injury. Like, everybody said, I saw it coming. I knew.
Look at this guy. He wants to poo-poo. And I know what this is. Dave LaGreca said something about screw your 5-star matches. And, he was talking about Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer gets some stuff right. He gets some stuff wrong. Nobody's going to be 100% right all the time. At least he took a chance and actually tried to make a call.
If Seth Rollins was was really injured, if it was legit, then it was legit. If it's not, it's not. Like, it's always like we talk about Dave Meltzer where he says something.
What are you saying? Nobody should try to predict anything. Nobody should put it out there that, hey, maybe this is like not legit. Like, are you saying that nobody's allowed to do that? Let's keep going with Dave LaGreca.
Something and they're like, oh, but that was changed. Well, you really don't know because it's
nobody really knows, but you can get 90% there.
Professional wrestling. I love not knowing.
He loves not knowing because he's a mark.
I love it.
And the WWE has been working the dirt sheets for a long time now. And when you have a situation like Seth Rollins, where you leak good information for a long time, and then you leak bad information when the time is right. Because nobody knew, Seth. Nobody knew. Listen.
Maybe you didn't know, but
I put my finger on certain moments in time, specifically Seth taking the finish. I said that does not happen in the WWE.
That's true.
Once
that's
you're
the
hurt,
one
you're
thing
hurt.
you got right.
So that never set right with me. But nobody knew. I think they are starting to deliberately leak false information.
But
they already did. Again, you're not paying attention. Daniel Cormier 2 weeks ago put it out there that Brock Lesnar was on the banned list. They're not. They've already done it. They've already been doing it. They've been doing it now for months.
The thing now is, and maybe it's because I'm not nearly on social media as much as I used to. I really don't think like the whole like dirt sheet thing has that same impact as it used to anymore.
I know they don't like the Wrestling Observer. What rubs me the wrong way about Busted Open is they try to put themselves over like they're above the dirt sheets. Wrestling Observer, I don't think they're making stuff up. I think they're taking information they got and they're trying to make a prediction and a call, which is, it's fun. That's part of the fun of wrestling. If you want to sit back because you don't want to try to put yourself out there and be risky and, say something, then that's on you. Have your Mark show where you guys bring in wrestlers and have safe interviews and fake manufactured angles where you're having a fake argument. I mean, it's cringe. And, no offense to anybody that likes this show. Again, I used to be a big fan. I used to love it back in the day, but it's just not my thing. Not my thing. Kind of grew out of it. And, that's all I can say about that. Let's move on.
I think like it's so 50-50 and half the stuff is right, half the stuff is wrong. I don't know if people really buy into these websites like they used to anyway. Half the shit they get wrong. And then, when they get it right, they're like, we told you. And when they get it wrong, they just make you want to forget that they actually said it the other way. It's just listen, if you're just putting out information without no backing, I totally get it. I understand why you would consider something a dirt sheet in that sense of the word, but I don't consider the Wrestling Observer a dirt sheet. And I know these guys, I know LaGreca does not like Dave Meltzer. He talks shit
a little bit ago. I remember that. I will not forget it. Because it was kind of hilarious. But like, there's two differences here. Busted Open cover wrestling for the fans in a different way than Wrestling Observer does. It's two totally different type of shows. One is insider industry knowledge, and they try to, do what Unreal has been trying to do now, which is, lift the curtain. And then these guys on Busted Open, it's more or less like a safe show. Like, we're going to talk about what happened on Raw. We're going to give our opinion. We're going to have Bubba Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, Mark Henry, guys like that who have been in the business for years upon years and get their takes on it. That's why I would listen to Busted Open, is for the vets that know what they're talking about. Not Dave LaGreca, who wears a babushka and women's glasses, but that's, another story for another day.
I just don't know if a lot of people put a lot of, concrete truth or honesty into this stuff like they used to anyway.
Well, what are we putting into your show? You're talking crap on people that are trying to make predictions, because predictions are fun. Do you want people to just put their heads in the sand and not want continuity in their story? WWE was the worst at continuity like 6 years ago. They righted the ship. It's better now. Now they're actually interesting. Like, ever since McMahon's been gone, like, the product has been very interesting. That's Hunter. Same deal with NXT back in the day. NXT was actually more enjoyable back in 2015, 2016 to watch than the main product, WWE. I remember going to WrestleMania in Dallas, was it 2016, and saw the NXT show, which was ridiculous. Like, that show was incredible. And then I went to WrestleMania, and the main event was trash. I think it was Triple H versus Roman Reigns. It was just boring. I think it was the Brock Lesnar Dean Ambrose match also was just terrible. They've righted the ship. Things are great now. Just because people want to make predictions and want to, try to call the business out for being lazy, I don't. And again, we all want the best product we can watch on TV. Nobody's doing this in a malicious way. I just think certain people are like sore about other people being right sometimes, and then they're wrong. And it's like, then they have to get defensive. There's no need to get defensive. Nobody's right 100% of the time,
I believe that pro wrestling dirt sheets have very much turned into political mainstream media.
That's a very general statement. Again, there's some trash out there. There's a lot of trash out there, actually. But again, I'll just use Wrestling Observer. I think for the most part, they get it. Most of the time, they're pretty on point, right?
Just throw it out there. Whatever. Who cares if we're right or wrong?
Some of them are, yeah. I agree.
If it's grabbing a headline, and if you're right, then you look like great. And if you're wrong, you just forget about it and you move on. But with Karrion Kross, it's an interesting one. Because I don't know what it is, Bully. Like, I look at Karrion Kross, and, man, I see a guy that could be huge in this business. He's got a great look. He's good in the ring. His entrance is awesome. But I don't know if he's really been given the opportunity.
Here's looking ahead to what could happen. It's all coming together right now. I'm just talking it out loud. You pretend Karrion Kross is exiled from WWE. Seth brings them into his faction, right? Zayn goes for the belt against Seth. Now, I don't know what's going to happen between the two of them. I don't know who wins or loses, but Karrion Kross has a beef with Sami Zayn. So why can't you have the guy who cannot stand Sami Zayn in your faction and have him screw over Sami Zayn in the long run? And then those two just keep feuding, kind of like, Seth Rollins and CM Punk do. Again, if you're thinking ahead, these things write themselves, right? I just wrote that just now. It's just completely bullshitted it. Will it happen? I don't know. There's a lot of variables there that have to, happen. But it's almost like when I saw the Seth injury happen and I knew something was up, and then I went back and I looked the last week what they had been talking about and what happened on Raw, and then I watched Paul Heyman's reaction and how he put on his actor's face when Seth, and the fact that they weren't even really talking or saying anything when he was sitting down on the apron. I mean, bro, like it's not hard. It really isn't. I've been watching wrestling for way too long, probably.
That the same thing is going on with Karrion Kross that's going on with LA Knight. In the eyes of the higher ups, in the eyes of creative, in the eyes of the people that make the decisions of the WWE, I think that when the bell rings, their confidence is not there.
But with the way that the WWE has used Karrion Kross,
here's the problem. Only so many people can be on the top. LA Knight, I don't think at this point is WWE champion material. If Sami Zayn hasn't been champion yet, WWE champion yet, then why would LA Knight be champion? Honestly, like, you know, I would have to go back. I don't think Sami Zayn has won a championship, Intercontinental. So, you know, how is LA Knight, you know, WWE World Championship material? I ask you, just tell me how he's more equipped to be a champion than Sami Zayn.
I think Karrion Kross would be extremely happy to be in a position that LA Knight is in. Like, I just don't feel like they've ever really put him in any kind of position at all.
I actually like the position that Karrion Kross is in right now. It's very real. It's very rebellious. It's very organic. It feels like his groundswell is true. Karrion Kross fans are mad, right?
Yep.
And then
right, I don't want to make this video
but
too
you know
long,
what?
But Bully Ray is kind of going into my whole, like, what I think is going to happen too. I think they're going to pretend that they didn't sign him, and I think at some point Seth brings them into his team, and then, like, you know, you got Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn with that whole feud. Maybe what you do is you don't sign, you pretend Karrion Kross is out of the picture. You let him do some independent gigs. You could have him on TNA. I wouldn't have him on TNA because TNA is pretty much WWE at this point. Just put him out there on the indies, let him do his thing. And then maybe Survivor Series. You get Seth Rollins defending against Sami Zayn. And then Karrion Kross comes out of nowhere and destroys Sami Zayn's chances of winning the belt. And Seth Rollins keeps the belt. Next day on Raw, Karrion Kross is with, with Seth Rollins and his faction. Boy, if that happens, like, talk about going from the outhouse to the penthouse. Like, you're seemingly not with the company, and then you're with the biggest name in the company, arguably at that point. Seth Rollins is one of the biggest names. Anyway, I'm going to end this right now. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Trying to have fun, guys. Not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers except for Dave LaGreca's. Okay? Have a good one, guys.